My father was pierced by a steel bar at the construction site. At that time, my mother was washing underwear for her old lover. The hospital called countless times but couldn't reach her. Only I ran out from school, rushing through the night, but it was already too late. When my mother finally picked up the phone, she said, "Lu Xiaoxiao, if there's nothing important, don't call me. Why aren't you focusing on your studies?" A man's voice echoed in the background. My mother sounded as if she was putting on an act. "You're joking around with him. My father is dead." My mother seemed indifferent, yet she registered the critical information. "What did you say?" I immediately hung up. So this is how a family shatters so simply, yet so painfully. In front of the operating room, a long trail of blood stained the floor. I ran too fast, accidentally stepping on a nail. It pierced my heel. I hastily pulled it out and kept running, not feeling any pain at all. It wasn't until I hung up the phone that I realized the state I was in. The on-duty nurse brought iodine and bandages to dress my wound. The cleaner, mop in hand, meticulously wiped away the bloodstain. I unconsciously muttered an apology. The nurse and the cleaner exchanged glances. The first relative to arrive at the hospital was my aunt. The moment she saw the wound on my bare foot, she knelt down anxiously and asked, "Xiaoxiao, what happened to you?" Seeing my aunt, I felt a flicker of consciousness return, my breathing slowly steadying. "Aunt, my father is gone, and my mother is still having an affair with that man." My aunt quickly stopped me from saying more. "Xiaoxiao, this matter is very serious, don't just blurt things out." I opened my phone. On my mother's social media, there was a photo of her with her former lover and his daughter. The three of them were pressed close together, so close that anyone who didn't know might think they were a happy family of three. In front of them was a table laden with delicious dishes, cooked by my mother's own hands. The background of the photo was my living room. In the corner of the balcony, a red pair of men's underwear dripped water, swaying in the wind. My aunt's face turned ashen. My younger cousin cursed angrily. He paced back and forth in the hospital corridor, then in front of me he made a call. "Lu Liang, bring some guys to my second aunt's house right now. Beat them to death. My second aunt's husband just died and they're still messing around. Only Xiaoxiao is home alone now." After hanging up, I looked up, my face pale and bewildered. "Aunt, I don't have a father anymore." That night, outside the operating room, my aunt hugged me, her tears flowing more profusely than mine. It wasn't that I wasn't hurting or didn't want to cry. It was just that the true pain needed to emerge at the most opportune moment. Dawn broke and my father's body was transferred to the morgue. My mother still hadn't come to the hospital to see him one last time. In truth, as soon as I received the call last night, I had already returned home with someone, using the spare key hidden by the door. I opened it and stepped inside. In the living room, dishes and chopsticks were strewn about, the balcony light still on, the red underwear especially glaring in the dimness. In the master bedroom, that man and woman, full and drunk, were sleeping soundly in each other's arms. His daughter, Li Yuyan, was sleeping in my bed, dreaming sweet dreams. The thought that I was still at the hospital watching over my father's body. I couldn't take it anymore. I struck right then and there. That man wasn't beaten too severely. He just had to stay in the hospital for 3 months afterward. A few broken ribs, a broken leg, and that handsome face my mother was so infatuated with. His nose was crooked, his front teeth chipped, and the blue-purple bruises took ages to fade. My mother was so terrified by me that her bones felt like jelly. Only after everyone had disciplined him did I let him go. My mother embraced her lover, his face swollen like a pig's head, sobbing hysterically as if her husband had just died. She turned to me and the people I brought, screaming abuses. I yelled back at her, "Shut up! What are you crying for? He's not dead. The one who died in the hospital, he was your husband." Compared to my mother, Li Yuyan was much smarter. She locked the bedroom door tightly, refusing to open it no matter how chaotic it got outside. My girlfriend said, "Xiaoxiao, that girl locked the room." I casually replied, "Break it open. At most, I'll buy my cousin a new door." The door was smashed open. The girl inside screamed and struggled, pulling out a utility knife and slashing my girlfriend's arm. No one was going to be polite to her anymore. My girlfriend grabbed her hair, stuffed her father's smelly socks into her mouth, twisting it a few times until she finally shut up. I ripped the necklace from her neck. "Your father stole another man's wife, and the daughter steals my cousin's necklace. What a despicable family." I sat in front of Li Yuyan, forcing her to reveal her home address, her father's workplace, and her own school and class. Li Yuyan deliberately made up an address in the west of the city. The other information she gave was also half-truths. I glanced at the person who came with her and asked, "Is your house in that area? Do you know her?" The guy chuckled, "Don't know her, but I know she studies at Xingxin High School in Dingcheng. It's a boarding school, so she definitely lives in Dingcheng." I asked again, "What about the workplace she just mentioned? Does anyone know it?" Another guy burst out laughing. "What kind of department head? There's only one department head in that office. Her father, he used to drive a truck for my workshop, got fired for messing around with a loose woman. Now he runs a bakery near the workshop." I curled my lip into a sneer. "Well, still wanna lie?" Li Yuyan's face went pale. She hadn't expected me to know so much. The affair between her father and my mother had been going on for over 20 years. Everyone in the small town knew, generations lived in the same circle. One question was all it took. Li Yuyan finally confessed everything. Incidentally, she also admitted to having ambushed my cousin, beating her up with her cronies, and stealing her pocket money. I hadn't expected such a bonus. My girlfriend was about to slap Li Yuyan, but I waved her off. I rummaged through Li Yuyan's bag and found several excellent report cards. I chuckled faintly. "Impressive scores, aren't they cheating?" Li Yuyan shook her head, then nodded. I tore the report cards to shreds. "No matter what, if you dared to lay a hand on my cousin in her final year, I'll make sure you have a bright future, too." At that moment, my mother rushed out of the room, hugging Li Yuyan tightly from behind. "Lu Liang, you must not harm Yuyan," I sighed. "Lu Xianzi, your mind is truly messed up, and your conscience has been devoured by dogs. Xiaoxiao is your real daughter. This bastard child is bullying Xiaoxiao," my mother proclaimed grandly. "Yuyan lost her mother early and had no one to care for her, which is why she went astray. Just now, you said Liu Ngok was dead, but now you're saying you're a widow and have already registered your marriage with Li Yuliang. Now Yuyan is your daughter. If Xiaoxiao were truly your daughter, she would definitely understand you. If she doesn't understand, she's not your daughter." I couldn't be bothered to listen to my mother's nonsensical arguments. I seized her and tied her up with everyone's help, escorting her to my grandmother's house. The ambulance also took those two despicable mother and daughter away. For a long time, my mother and her lover had been living in the house my father bought. It wasn't just for a day or two. Neighbors had often heard quarrels and knew everything. Half a year ago, my father had caught them a few times. He'd beaten them, advised them. Eventually, the neighbors stopped bothering to call the police. Every time the police mediated, the apartment complex would gain a new maxim. The neighbors remembered my mother's classic statement very clearly. When arguing with my father because of her lover, she'd said, "I married you, you have legal status, and over 10 years of actual marriage, what more do you want? A generous man should be tolerant of everything. Why can't you tolerate me and Li Yuliang? It's not like I married you for love." The children in the neighborhood, having overheard, would even reenact the family drama in the apartment courtyard, much to the neighbors' extreme exasperation. After that, I moved out to live in the construction site dormitory with my father, while our old house became my mother's love nest. There was no point in Lu Xianzi coming to the hospital anymore. My father fell from the construction site, his body only superficially handled, looking utterly tragic. I dared not imagine the pain he must have endured before dying, with a broken spine and shattered organs. My aunt had taken leave to help me. I was over 18, so many procedures I had to handle myself. My aunt was the one who accompanied me. Hospital staff, seeing us, even thought my aunt was my mother, constantly offering condolences. At noon, my uncle drove us to my grandmother's house. As we arrived at the apartment complex, we saw several fire trucks blocking the main gate. My uncle had to park outside. We walked in. That's when we learned Lu Xianzi was causing a commotion, threatening to jump from the building. Don't misunderstand. She wasn't trying to commit suicide. She was trying to escape to the hospital to see her lover. But my grandmother was strictly guarding the door, absolutely refusing to let her out. Cornered, Lu Xianzi resorted to the jumping theatrics, screaming tragically, blaming her family for controlling her, blaming her loveless marriage, blaming an unfair society for not allowing her to have an affair. Half her body was dangling out over the balcony, wailing loudly. I stood downstairs, witnessing the entire scene, feeling the world spin. My aunt helped me sit down on the grass, my entire body trembling with rage. Ultimately, she didn't jump. Firefighters stormed in through the next-door neighbor's window. One swift kick sent her flying back into the room. For years afterward, Lou Zienzi would always complain about chest pains, though it was unclear whether it was from the firefighter's kick or a psychological ailment. But if she never truly wanted to die, what right did she have to blame others for saving her? Perhaps she was simply accustomed to twisting her faults into grievances, accustomed to dumping all blame onto others. No matter what wrong she did, she was always the innocent, pitiful victim. At my father's funeral, my grandmother forbade Lou Zienzi from appearing. She took her back to her hometown, hiring 2 village women to watch over her day and night, insisting she stay there until the mourning period was over. This was necessary. Otherwise, who knew if she would have shown up at the funeral to announce her love and affair? The funeral was presided over by me alone. My father was an orphan. After finishing vocational school, he became an apprentice in a workshop. He followed my maternal grandfather, from when my grandfather was a laborer until he opened a construction company. When my grandfather retired, my father was his successor. My father always said not to forget kindness, but in return, he lost all his dignity. His family was destroyed, and ultimately, he lost his life. When my father's body was cremated, the flames reflected in my face. I suddenly realized that from now on, I was a resentful orphan. After the funeral, I returned to the construction company to take over my father's position. While examining the assets he left behind, I discovered that large sums of money had vanished without any proper paperwork. The company accountant who used to work with my maternal grandfather shrugged and said, "The one who withdrew the money was the madam, also your aunt. She demanded it, how could I refuse?" I had no choice but to go back to the hometown to confront Lou Zienzi. "Where's the money?" She feigned ignorance. "What money? I don't know, it's not in the books, don't talk nonsense." I cursed until my throat was dry. "Lou Zienzi, do you have any conscience left?" If it weren't for the financial black hole, would my father have needed to rush the construction progress to collect payments? Would he have needed to fall from the 16th floor? Lou Zienzi was scared, but stubbornly denied any wrongdoing. I didn't make him rush the progress. His fall was just bad luck. I gritted my teeth. "Repeat that, please." At that moment, my grandmother and uncle had just arrived and heard that sentence from the doorway. Lou Zienzi's face turned pale, whether from guilt or terror. I coldly asked, "Are you still my mother?" She forced herself to speak in a strained voice. "Your father and I were already going to divorce anyway. You're 18 now, why are you still clinging to me?" My grandmother exploded in rage. I quickly pulled her outside and closed the door. Inside, sounds of beating and shouting erupted. I squatted in the courtyard, tears streaming down my face. My uncle's eyes were red too. He tried to comfort me. "Zayexeo, don't be afraid, you have me now." Seeing my uncle, who had always been carefree, now anxious and angry, I couldn't hold it back anymore and burst into tears. "Uncle, I'm so scared. Dad's gone, no one can help me anymore, and Mom is siding with her lover." My uncle fell silent, understanding the hidden meaning in my words. Getting the money back was more important. I immediately went to the hospital, heading straight to Li Yuliang's sickbed. The lover was half dead. "Where's the money?" Li Yuliang covered his face and said, "You beat me last time, you can't beat me again this time." "Shut up, I'm asking how much money Lou Zienzi transferred to you. How many times, what's the total?" Li Yuliang stammered. I grabbed his ear and yanked hard. I'll tell you, but she gave it all to me, I didn't ask for it." A year ago, after Li Yuliang moved his entire family back from another place, he and Lou Zienzi rekindled their affair. From the money to open his bakery to the underwear he wore, it all came from my company. I held up my phone, playing a video in front of him, Li Yuyan bullying a classmate. I had more than one copy saved. Just one look, and it was clear his daughter was the ringleader. "If you don't want her expelled, return all the money Lou Zienzi took from my company." Li Yuliang had once boasted that his daughter had the potential to get into Tsinghua and Peking University. He raised her to be an outstanding talent. He might be greedy for money, but he absolutely wouldn't gamble with his daughter's future. I used the same method to deal with Li Yuyan. Her father was in the hospital, and she was living alone. I intercepted her on her way home, forcing her to watch the school bullying video. "Do you know why your father was beaten but didn't dare to report it to the police? It's not just because of you, but also because I have enough evidence to put him behind bars. If you don't want your father to go to jail, list all the money Lou Zienzi spent over the past year. How much she spent, where she spent it, write it all down." This method worked. I obtained 2 detailed records. Comparing the data, even with a few discrepancies, I had grasped the majority of the embezzled funds. A week later, my uncle met me at school during lunch break. He handed me a notebook and an oil paper envelope. Inside, it was bulging with 870,000 yuan in cash, not including some smaller, undeclared amounts. The cash was what that man had accumulated himself. Adding the remaining balance from the shop renovation, I opened Li Yuyan's notebook. The total recoverable amount came to 926,700 yuan. Besides that, there was personal shopping money, food taken from my home amounts that couldn't be accurately calculated. All of it was the price my father had paid with his life. My uncle placed the envelope of money in my hand. This money is yours for university later. Tuition and living expenses, I'll take care of them. This company will also be yours eventually. I bowed my head. Tears dripped into my rice bowl, making tiny, barely audible sounds, so small they were easy to overlook. My uncle wasn't good with words. He just took a deep breath and went outside to light a cigarette. But tears don't make a sound. The sound, clearly, came from a shattered heart. If only I had known earlier, I would have definitely advised my father to divorce sooner. A year before, when I was in 11th grade, Lu Xianzi was caught entering a hotel with her lover. This news reached my father's ears. My father knew their past well. They had once loved each other but couldn't be together. After years of marriage, other than giving birth to me, there was no affection between them, but my father still advised her, "Don't make things too ugly." She replied, "How many years have I tolerated you? You and I have been struggling in this loveless marriage, so why should I tolerate it any longer? When I married you, didn't you get my father's company because of it? What right do you have to demand anything of me? If you can't make me happy, what right do you have to forbid others from making me happy?" My father intended to hide this from me, waiting until I finished my university entrance exams before settling the divorce. But Lu Xianzi began extorting money, starting with tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and eventually millions. One time she directly demanded 3 million yuan. The company was already in difficulty. My father had already spent a lot. How could he immediately pull out 3 million? "If you don't give me money, don't expect to save face." After that, Li Yuliang boldly walked into my house. My home, could I even go back? That day, I went home. The owner of the shop where I worked part-time handed me the keys and said, "You haven't been home in a long time, go see how things are." I gave a faint smile. My home, can I even go back? Who was this man? The day Li Yuliang brazenly entered our home, I was at home studying. Since her marriage, Lu Xianzi had never worked. Perhaps she forgot it was a weekend, which is why she let her lover appear in front of me. In the kitchen, Lu Xianzi clumsily chopped vegetables. From behind, Li Yuliang pressed close, patting her hip. I yelled, "What the hell are you two doing?" Both were startled, but Lu Xianzi turned to scold me first. "What are you doing home? What are you screaming about? Don't you know how to be polite?" I glared at Li Yuliang. He rubbed his nose and turned away. I growled, "Who is he? Where's my father?" With everything exposed, Lu Xianzi didn't bother to hide anymore. "You've seen it, no need to hide anymore. Your father and I are divorced. From now on, Uncle Li will be your stepfather." I was enraged. "Has my father officially divorced you yet? You're bringing this damn dog into our house and expecting me to accept him as my stepfather? Who the hell is he?" I inherited this fiery temper from my grandmother. Lu Xianzi had never raised me. After giving birth, she claimed poor health and barely cared for me a day. From childhood, I lived with my grandmother and aunt. Lu Xianzi couldn't argue with me, so she picked up a rice bowl and threw it straight at me. I dodged, the bowl missed, but the shards still cut my skin. She screamed, "Get out." Why should I get out? She should be the one to get out. That man paused, a fleeting hint of viciousness in his eyes as he looked me up and down, uttering a few false words. "Xianzi, this is your daughter, don't be too hard on her." Lu Xianzi leaned into his arms, sobbing miserably. "I'm so miserable, married to a man like that, giving birth to a bastard child." Her lover, while comforting her, sneered, his expression filled with smugness and provocation. In my short 18 years, I had witnessed firsthand the two most shameless people in the world. One was my mother, the other was her lover. I felt so disgusted I couldn't bear to look anymore. Turning, I left. Lu Xianzi screamed from behind, "Lu Xiaoxiao, you are never to come back here again." I rushed away, taking nothing with me, going straight to find my father. I thought he would stand up for me, but no. When I arrived, Dad was squatting at the construction site, eating a lunchbox with the workers. At that time, I didn't know the company was on the verge of collapse. I angrily recounted everything. Dad just sighed silently, telling me to stay at a friend's house temporarily and that he would arrange a dormitory for me soon. I didn't realize how tired and emaciated my father was. I even blamed him for being a coward for returning home, but was that even my home anymore? After the funeral, my uncle and I returned to the old house. It had been cleaned, but the decor was completely changed, undoubtedly to that man's taste. The potted plant my father had cared for over a decade was now withered in a corner of the room. I opened the drawer in my room and found a family photo. My face and my father's had been slashed, and crude words were scrawled on top with a marker. "Whore, dog-licking bastard." No need to ask who did it. They had taken over my home, spent my money, then turned to insult and mock both me and my father. My uncle saw it and patted my shoulder. "Don't worry, Xiaoxiao, I won't let anyone bully you. What belongs to you must be taken back." Exactly. What they had ruined, I had to reclaim. What they had defiled, I had to destroy with my own hands. I returned to school and began my plan for revenge. After the funeral, I went back to school. My uncle was worried and wanted to drive me every day. I refused. "Uncle, I'm fine. It's more convenient in the dormitory." My uncle hesitated for a moment and then agreed. Of course, the dormitory was more convenient for me to execute my revenge plan. "I have a video of you, do you believe me?" As expected, Li Yuyan blocked me outside the school gate. She said, "Don't think just because your father is dead I'll let you off the hook. You can get your money back, but it has to be in cash. Otherwise, I'll distribute your naked video. Let's see if you dare to go to school anymore." I had been secretly filmed in my own home. This video wasn't taken at school, it was in my house. That day, Lu Xianzi called me, her voice reproachful. "Are you really not coming home? Come home this weekend, your father and I have something to discuss." I didn't want to go back, but hearing that my father would also be there, I naively thought that this time, everything would finally be resolved. That evening, I went home and was stripped naked and filmed by Li Yuyan and two thug girls. The moment I cried out, I was slapped. When I struggled, a utility knife was used to cut my skin. Only a wall separated us. My mother was on the other side, yet she heard nothing, or perhaps she chose to cover her ears and ignore it. Li Yuyan laughed provocatively, just like her father. "Next time, if you dare to be #1 in school again, I'll upload this video online. Let's see if anyone won't know you're a slut." Was I afraid? Of course, but more than fear, I felt despair. My mother was the one who called me home. But in the middle of the night, she secretly opened the door to let those two despicable girls into the house. Did she do it to force my father to divorce or to extort money? But why choose this method? I hadn't even had a chance to tell my father everything before he fell from the 16th floor. "Did you hear me?" I was dazed. Li Yuyan slapped me. "Slut, are you listening to me?" I laughed coldly. "My father is dead." She hadn't heard clearly. She slapped me again. My face burned, but my heart was as cold as ice. She didn't understand. My father was dead. I had nothing left to fear. I swung my arm, pushing her to the ground. Even as the two thugs punched and kicked me, I held Li Yuyan down, repeatedly hitting her face. I slammed Li Yuyan's head against the ground again and again. She wailed, begging for mercy, her head bleeding profusely. The two thugs with her were terrified and didn't dare to touch me anymore. My eyes at that moment were wild, ferocious, ready to kill, or as if I wanted to drag all of them down to die with me. The utility knife cut all over my body, but I no longer felt any pain. My whole body was drenched in blood, the strong metallic smell filling my nostrils. I snatched Li Yuyan's backpack, pulled out her phone, and shoved it into my pocket. Staggering to my feet, I kicked her hard in the stomach. "Go on, call the police, tell them I beat you up." She lay stunned on the ground, eyes filled with terror, even forgetting to cry. I sneered, "Go ahead and report it. I also have videos on your phone. How many people have you bullied? Think about it, if those videos get out, will those people leave you alone? You want to destroy me." "Fine, let's go down together." She didn't dare, because if those videos were exposed, the parents of those victims would drag her to hell and her school would expel her immediately. I squatted down, lightly tapped her face with her phone, and laughed insanely. "From now on, I'll play this game with you." Turning the tables, one of the thugs tried to snatch the phone back. I grabbed her hair and slammed her head against the wall. "You scumbags are just small fry, and you think you can be bosses." Then I dragged her head along the wall. She shrieked in pain. I let go, and she clutched her face, her palms covered in blood. The other girl quickly helped her up, terrified and unwilling to approach. I glanced at them, a faint, chilling smile on my lips. "I'm just learning from the videos on your phones. First time's a bit rough, next time I promise to chop off your limbs." Only when pushed to the absolute limit does a person discover they can also fight back like a wild beast. Every wound I suffered, I would make them repay 100-fold. I returned home drenched in blood, my whole body stained. I walked into my aunt's house. She paled with fear, immediately driving me to the hospital. The moment the doctor saw me, he called the police. When the police took my statement, I hid under the covers, trembling, not uttering a single word. My uncle and grandmother also came to the hospital. Hearing the doctor explain my condition, they immediately understood what had happened. Without hesitation, my uncle directly presented the school bullying video. On a local forum, a post had already appeared with many bullying videos, accompanied by a Google Drive link. I wasn't the only victim. My uncle was the first to report it to the police. Afterward, a second, then a third family came forward. The matter was serious. The police, in coordination with the school, rounded up the entire bullying gang, including the true ringleader. Ironically, Li Yuyan wasn't the mastermind. She was merely a vicious henchman, one who carried out cruelties more severe than usual. Before her own wounds could even heal, she was taken to the police station for interrogation. She cried foul, claiming I had also beaten her, but no one believed her. They always chose places without cameras to carry out their attacks. The two thugs, fearing harsher penalties, shifted all blame onto Li Yuyan. No one would stand up to testify for her. Furthermore, this bullying group always had a rule. They only bullied poor, isolated students without connections. These victims usually dared not report, or if they did, the school would quietly suppress the matter. But Li Yuyan broke that rule. She bullied excellent, beautiful female students from good families. Like me, the top student in the entire school for many years. Even though my father was gone, the school dared not easily ignore this matter. Or like a female student participating in an art competition, who had won first prize in a provincial dance competition. In the bullying video, Li Yuyan grabbed her hair, dragged her across the ground, her entire face scraping against the concrete floor, bleeding profusely. As she dragged her, Li Yuyan sneered and cursed, "Whore, you're trash." That female student's face was ruined, requiring plastic surgery, but it was uncertain if she would ever fully recover. You still have the face to beg for her. I was waiting for the day Li Yuyan would be expelled, her future completely shattered. Then Lu Xianzi appeared in the hospital, standing before my bed, tears streaming down her face. But she wasn't there to visit me, she was there to plead for Li Yuyan. Ziyak Xiao, forgive Yuyan. She can't take the university entrance exam anymore, and she can't fight with you for a mother anymore. She's so pitiful. Hypocrisy again, comparing who was more pitiful. I pulled up my patient gown's sleeve, revealing the numerous knife cuts on my arm. Some had scabbed over, others were still bleeding through the bandages. What about me? What about these wounds? I swept my hair back to show her the long scar on my face. My face is disfigured. I'll have to live with this face for the rest of my life. I stared intently at her, waiting to see how shameless she could still be. What do you want me to do? Lu Xianzi mumbled, but Yuyan has been without a mother since she was little. I slammed my hand on the hospital bed railing and roared, is Li Yuyan not having a mother asterisk my asterisk fault? Didn't asterisk you ruin her family? I don't have a father anymore either. But my father died because of you? Lu Xianzi was very skilled at blame shifting, but this time she had nothing to refute. She wanted me to forgive Li Yuyan, but her way of pleading was to say, she's more pitiful than you. What about me? Even if she didn't consider me her daughter, didn't she remember that I had just lost my father? My aunt and uncle entered from outside. My uncle quickly pulled her away. My aunt hugged me tightly, shielding me. She thought she could just get away with it. I wouldn't let it go. That night, Li Yuyan stripped me naked and filmed me. You were right in the next room. Why didn't you stop them? You deliberately let them destroy me to get back at my father, didn't you? You don't deserve to be my mother, you're just a... I pushed my aunt away, enunciating each word, directly calling her a whore. Lu Xianzi froze, her eyes wide as if struck by lightning. I wanted to see that expression longer, but my uncle pulled her away. My aunt hugged me tight, continuously comforting me. Ziyak Xiao, don't be afraid, it's all right now. I wasn't afraid, because the game had just begun. My homeroom teacher came to visit me, accompanied by Jiang Tao, my academic rival. He was handsome, rich, played the violin, the dream prince of countless female students. But only I knew his true nature was not like that. Jiang Tao stood politely before my hospital bed and said, "Get well soon. I've copied notes for you. When you come back, we'll continue our rivalry." I took the bouquet of lilies, softly replying, "Okay." my pale skin only highlighted the pure white of the lilies. Jiang Tao's gaze briefly froze until the teacher spoke, jolting him back to reality. "Do you like that, slut?" "What?" At that moment, Li Yuyan burst into the room. Outside the door, Lu Xianzi trembled with anxiety. Clearly, they had come to threaten me while feigning pleas for forgiveness, but Jiang Tao's dazed expression completely infuriated Li Yuyan. She screamed through tears, "I've been so good to you, and you like asterisk this slut." The whole room suddenly fell silent. I knew Li Yuyan liked Jiang Tao, but I didn't expect her to go so crazy. Jiang Tao's face went white. "What nonsense are you talking about? I don't even know who you are." The teacher stepped forward, shielding me and Jiang Tao. "Is this how you behave when facing a classmate you've harmed?" She handled the situation very well, because if this incident got out, not only I but Jiang Tao would also be affected. The school highly valued talented students. Both Jiang Tao and I were strong candidates for Tsinghua and Peking University. The school absolutely couldn't afford any slip-ups. Very quickly, medical staff escorted Lu Xianzi and her daughter out. "She's not my mother is dead." Lu Xianzi screamed at everyone. "I am her mother," I smiled faintly. "Impossible, my mother is dead. The people who have been by my side these past few days, they are my family." The teacher also said coldly, "You are Li Yuyan's parent, correct? If you want to beg for forgiveness, you shouldn't impersonate the victim's parent." Lu Xianzi stood rooted to the spot, utterly stunned. She had never cared for me, never attended a parent-teacher meeting, to the point that my teacher, who had taught me for 3 years, didn't even know she was my mother. Jiang Tao looked at Li Yuyan with disgust. That look was the deadliest blow. Li Yuyan sobbed silently. That night, she also made me cry. She slapped me, pulled my hair, filmed it with her phone, laughing mockingly. "Ugly cry. Smile, smile for me. And now, can you still smile?" Li Yuyan, I had never loved anyone, but I knew how to use my appearance. Lu Xianzi never liked me because I wasn't flirtatious, and my personality wasn't like hers. She preferred gentle, shy girls like Li Yuyan, who could stand still and look like a dignified young lady. But no one would have guessed she would form a bullying group, slapping, pulling hair, even using a utility knife to cut others. And one reason she did these things was partly because of Jiang Tao. Li Yuyan met Jiang Tao at an arts festival jointly organized by 2 high schools. On stage, bathed in dazzling lights, Jiang Tao played the violin, the resonant sound echoed, also stealing her heart. Li Yuyan considered herself beautiful and smart. Having just transferred to a prestigious school, she was surrounded by countless male students. She felt like a princess, so why couldn't she be with a prince? But reality was cruel. She found it difficult to approach Jiang Tao. Not only because they attended 2 distant schools, but also because she was only in 10th grade, while Jiang Tao was in 12th. She had Jiang Tao's contact information, but he was busy studying for exams and paid almost no attention to her. Not getting the prince's attention was excruciating pain, so she began eliminating all potential romantic rivals. She broke the unspoken rules of the bullying clique, brazenly targeting bright, beautiful female students, just to monopolize her imaginary love. The truth made me sick to my stomach when I read the diary on Li Yuyan's phone. My stomach cramped, I couldn't hold it in, and finally vomited violently. All for such a foolish reason, she destroyed the lives of so many other girls. And me, in her eyes, I was just someone to teach a lesson to. Because I dared to defy her father, because I repeatedly stole Jiang Tao's top rank. Because she had my naked video, she could force my father to obediently hand over money. My father's phone definitely held something. I suddenly remembered when my father fell from the 16th floor, he was still clutching his phone murderous evidence. After being discharged from the hospital, I immediately searched through my father's belongings. The phone screen was shattered but could still be repaired. I sat for over 2 hours in the repair shop, a growing unease in my heart. Finally, the repairman returned the phone to me, saying, "It's fixed." I unlocked it and checked my father's WeChat messages. What struck my eyes was a blackmail message from Li Yuliang, accompanied by my asterisk video. When my father received this message, he was inspecting the construction on the 16th floor. Workers said, "My father was looking at his phone and accidentally fell over the railing." If the project had been completed, my father would have recovered the money, been able to cover the deficit, and could have given money to Lu Xianzi, then divorced and started a new life with me. But they killed my father. I handed the phone to my grandmother. I couldn't seek revenge alone, so I gave my father's phone to my grandmother. Both my grandparents had been through many storms, they were strong and principled. I believed my grandmother would demand justice for my father. My grandmother acted. That day, my grandmother cried for a long time in front of my grandfather's portrait. Then she told my uncle and aunt to go find Lu Xianzi. What was Lu Xianzi doing then? She was going door to door to the victims' families, begging for forgiveness for Li Yuyan. She was cursed, spat upon, but still persistently knelt before each person. She felt she was being noble and great. Mother, forgive Yuyan. She was escorted home by my uncle and aunt. Seeing me, Lu Xianzi immediately switched to a pleading posture. Ziyak Xiao, forgive Yuyan. The lawyer said if she sued, she'll go to jail. My grandmother slammed her cane on the ground. Have you had enough? Ziyak Xiao is your actual daughter? Who the hell is Li Yuyan? Lu Xianzi trembled but still tried to maintain a defiant attitude. Mother, if you hadn't separated Yul Yang and me, my first child would have been born long ago. My grandmother angrily snapped. Li Yul Yang had a wife and child, and you still wanted to meddle. If he hadn't deceived you, he would have divorced long ago. He deceived you from the very beginning. I said coldly, think back, who told me that you two were going to elope that year? It was Li Yul Yang. He even took 5,000 yuan from my father, promising he would no longer be involved with you. You thought he eloped with you? Not at all. He was having an affair with another man's wife at work, got caught, and was fired. You got pregnant out of wedlock, and my parents had to cover for you. Otherwise, you would have been living worse than a dog long ago. Lu Xianzi's eyes were red-rimmed, shaking her head repeatedly. Impossible, he said. As long as I divorce, we can go back to how things were. Just 3 million and we'll have a new house. My aunt angrily poked her finger hard on my mother's forehead. He's just using you. You supported his entire family, opened a bakery for him, transferred his daughter's school, you paid for everything. Lu Xianzi, still mesmerized, shook her head. Just 3 million more, and we can buy a new house, then everything will be fine. I couldn't stand it anymore. She had lived a life of luxury for so many years, eating well, dressing beautifully, enjoying everything my father provided, and even now she was still fantasizing about a future with her lover. A wretched, insatiable person. Before, Lu Xianzi had never done housework, always impeccably dressed and elegant. I truly didn't understand what my father owed her. But when she met Li Yul Yang, she didn't hesitate to cook for him, even washing his underwear. She abandoned her dignity, openly associated with her lover, and even treated his daughter as her own. In the end, she drained all the money from our house to help him buy a house and settle down. Did she ever think about what a burden that money was for my father? Did she ever care how I would live after losing everything? No, she had never loved me. Lu Xianzi was committed to a mental institution. My grandmother sent Lu Xianzi to a private nursing home, telling everyone, my daughter went mad from losing her husband. Since many people had witnessed her attempting to jump from the building, no one questioned it further. Once she was out of the way, things became easier. I handed all the evidence to the police. The blackmail messages on my father's phone were enough to serve as primary evidence, sending Li Yul Yang to prison for several years. Even though Lu Xianzi went door-to-door begging, not a single person agreed to forgive. Who would cherish their daughter like a treasure and then condone the person who shamed her? They weren't Lu Xianzi. They weren't as shameless and malicious as her. Li Yuyan received a fitting end. She was sentenced to 2 years in prison for public humiliation and intentional assault. Her high school was also embroiled in scandal. During the trial, Li Yuyan proactively revealed that she had been molested by a teacher. She tried to use her victim's status to get a reduced sentence but failed. The judge coldly replied that it was a separate case, unrelated to the current trial. But the news spread to the school, forcing them to open an investigation. The result was that her 10th grade homeroom teacher had repeatedly leaked exam questions and maintained an improper relationship. Her reputation as a talented, promising student was, in fact, just a deception. Li Yuyan only had an outward appearance. Inside, she was merely an arrogant, venomous snake. That teacher was fired. His wife divorced him immediately. For some, the university entrance exam led to the pinnacle. For others, the abyss. After a tumultuous year, my university entrance exam results weren't good. I barely scored enough to get into a second-tier university. Hearing my scores, Jiang Tao came to see me. He smiled, his voice tinged with pity. I got into Tsinghua and Peking University. Ziyak Xiao, it's a shame we won't meet at the top anymore. I didn't react. He leaned closer, whispering in my ear, I've seen all your nude photos. What are you still so arrogant about? You slut, aren't you? I gave a cold laugh and said nothing, just pushed Jiang Tao forcefully to the ground. Everyone rushed over. A crowd of voices scolded me. Lu Xiaoxiao, did your low scores make you crazy? Why did you push Jiang Tao? Jiang Tao, feigning generosity, smiled faintly. It's okay, everyone knows what happened to Xiaoxiao's family. She could have gotten into Tsinghua and Peking University, but because of so many unfortunate events, she failed. It's understandable that she's in a bad mood. I shouldn't have provoked her. Everyone sympathized more with Jiang Tao, surrounding him while shunning me. I just let out a contemptuous laugh. Jiang Tao shouldn't have messed with me. I will destroy him. The next day, a post appeared on the school's confession wall, titled, "Who is our school prince, Jiang Tao, really?" The article included Jiang Tao's browsing data, including his access history to dark forums, the number of times he downloaded school bullying videos, the duration he watched each video, and his filthy comments afterward. This girl's body is really something. She looks innocent normally, but swaying like this, she's no different from other sluts. Can you film some more stimulating scenes? My video was also on the list. He even commented on me. The top student in the school, huh? Looks like just another slut who likes to pretend to be pure. The domino effect. The post was immediately deleted by the school, but the rumors had already spread everywhere. The Ministry of Education and universities that had sent Jiang Tao admission notices also received anonymous complaints. All of them accused him of his sick behavior, watching, downloading, and distributing school bullying videos. The prince fell. Even though he didn't directly participate in the bullying, those disgusting comments showed that he fully supported and encouraged such behavior. He even requested the bullying group to film more videos, targeting female students he knew. Although his actions weren't enough to be prosecuted, his reputation was permanently destroyed. Just one sentence from Jiang Tao was enough to nail him to the pillar of shame, making everyone despise and scorn him. Tsinghua and Peking University revoked his admission notices, even announcing it publicly. The police also invited him in to assist with the investigation. Regardless of the investigation's outcome, his reputation was utterly ruined. The admission letter he had worked so hard for instantly turned into waste paper. He truly shouldn't have provoked me. After enduring so much pain and despair, I understood what perfect destruction felt like. If I could send Li Yuliang and his daughter to jail, I could also tear apart his prince's facade. You did this, didn't you? That day, when Jiang Tao walked out of the police station, his face was ashen as if his soul had been sucked out. His parents stood beside him, filled with disappointment and pain. Over a decade of painstaking upbringing, all turned to dust in an instant. He saw me, rushed forward, and growled, "You did this, didn't you?" My uncle stood beside me. If Jiang Tao dared to lay a hand on me, my uncle could have knocked him flat immediately. I replied with a faint, chilling smile. Just one casual remark from you drove that girl, Li Yuyan, insane because of me. I also want to ask you, aren't you afraid of karma? And now that karma has come, you can't bear it. Don't you find that ironic? Jiang Tao, are you a coward? His eyes bloodshot, he raised his fist to hit me, but his parents held him back, even bowing and apologizing to me right in front of everyone. It's our fault in raising our child. Please forgive him, please don't sue him. He's lost his entire future. My uncle immediately countered. He lost his future. If my niece hadn't been strong enough, she might have lost her entire life. Only when one has stabbed themselves do they truly know pain. I hid behind my uncle like a frightened rabbit, screaming, "Get out, all of you get out." Jiang Tao's parents continuously apologized, finally dragging him away. Was that you, Xiaoxiao? On the way, my uncle drove me back to my grandmother's house. My uncle suddenly asked, "Was that you?" I calmly replied, "I sent the anonymous complaint email. I used an account in Xinju. No one can trace it back to me. My father always had a backup plan. If my domestic exam scores weren't ideal, I would go to Xinju to study languages, then apply to universities abroad." Since high school, I've always interacted with international friends, practicing English while making friends with a talented group of hackers. Finding personal information for a small domestic forum account was as easy as pie for them. They even helped me find out that Li Yuyan had read Jiang Tao's comments and then sent an OK sticker. How could I ever forgive him? Just one careless remark from him, and who knows how many girls were harmed. A butterfly flapping its wings can cause a snowstorm in Siberia. He didn't directly participate in the bullying, but the parents of the victims will never forgive him. When they read those disgusting comments, he was lucky to still have his parents' protection, still a way out. But what awaited him on the path ahead? That was no longer my concern. Goodbye to the past, hello to the future. After the university entrance exam, I chose the path my father had prepared for me, going to Zinju to study abroad. Before I left, my uncle married his girlfriend. They didn't hold a grand ceremony, just invited a few friends to celebrate at home. My grandmother wore a red cheongsam, sitting as the hostess, both joyful and emotional. Finally, this family had something to celebrate. After the wedding reception, my grandmother called my uncle's wife into the room to talk. My uncle, slightly tipsy, sat beside me and involuntarily sighed. "Xiaoxiao, I used to be a fool. If I hadn't made mistakes and gone to jail that year, your grandfather wouldn't have given your mother to your father. Everyone laughed at your father, calling him a kept man. Your mother also mocked him, saying he married her for money. But at that time, the company was actually on the verge of bankruptcy. It was your father who saved it. I wasn't here all those years. Your father earned money to support the family in my stead, cared for your grandparents, tolerated your mother, and raised you. He was also the one who encouraged me to get my qualifications and study properly so that I wouldn't be left behind by society after getting out of prison. Xiaoxiao, I owe your father a lot, and I owe you a lot too." I had known it all along. My father treated everyone with kindness, but not everyone remembered his goodness. Even my uncle used to say that being a good person doesn't always lead to a good outcome. "Dad, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." After I went to Zinju, my uncle sold the company and with his family left the old city. The following year, he became a father. My uncle moved his entire family from the old city, choosing a place with a better education system, a more livable city. My grandmother also moved with him. Lu Xianzi was released from the nursing home, but Li Yuliang and his daughter had long been imprisoned. She sought out his bakery, but it had been repossessed and was now a noodle shop. The owner, a shrewd middle-aged woman, sat with her feet on the counter, cracking melon seeds, sizing Lu Xianzi up and down. She sneered, well, Lu the fool, that scoundrel has been in jail for ages. Have you come to give him money?" "You're lying, I want to see Li Yuliang." Lu Xianzi was flustered but couldn't endure this humiliation. She had once been doted upon by her husband and lover. Who dared speak to her in such a tone? She got angry. "You're talking nonsense. Call Li Yuliang out here." The shop owner burst into laughter. "You mean you thought this shop was bought by Li Yuliang? He's in jail for blackmailing your ex-husband with your daughter's naked photos. Are you really still uncured of your madness? Why are you still pining for him? If you want to see him, go find him in prison." She stood frozen, her mind exploding. "Naked photos of my daughter? Impossible, it must be a slander. Lu Xiaoxiao must have made it up to stop me from remarrying." She stammered, "You're mistaken. Yuliang was framed." The shop owner scoffed contemptuously, truly a fool beyond saving. He had a wife and children, and besides you, countless other lovers. Yet you still naively believed him. No wonder when he returned to the city, he didn't contact anyone else, only sought you out to exploit you. I also once thought he was handsome, so I messed around with him a few times. But I'm not as stupid as you, getting tricked by him and even helping him count his money." She furiously grabbed the shop owner's hair and charged at her to fight, but the owner was no pushover. Both pulled hair and scratched, turning the noodle shop into chaos. Neither staff nor customers dared to intervene. In the end, Lu Xianzi was beaten black and blue and thrown onto the street. The owner, her face full of scratches, spat and cursed, "Dare to ruin my shop? You deserve to be deceived until your family is shattered. I despise you." Lu Xianzi covered her face, crying silently. The sky had darkened. She didn't know where to go, so she returned to her old house. But before I went abroad, I had changed the locks. She couldn't get in. She then sought out my grandmother's house, but it was empty. Neighbors, seeing her by chance, smiled both awkwardly and curiously. "Your mother and brother moved a long time ago. Your daughter also went abroad. Didn't you know?" She felt a chill run through her. All of them know one had visited her in the institution for a year. How could she have known? She had called Lu Xiaoxiao countless times, sent so many messages, all ignored. "Disloyal child," she choked out a silent curse. Finally, she limped to my aunt's house. Just as the family was eating dinner, she hobbled into the courtyard. My aunt's face was as cold as ice. "What are you doing here?" She burst into tears, beginning to whine and complain about her suffering. Then she accused me. "Lu Xiaoxiao is so unfilial. daring to frame my lover and send him to prison. Does she think she can be irresponsible just because she went to study abroad? I'll make her come back and confess. My younger cousin couldn't stand it and cursed directly. Sister Xiaoxiao is so pitiful to have a mother like you. My uncle took my cousin inside, then turned to look at Lu Xianzi, saying coldly, "Are you really stupid or just pretending to be?" The court based its judgment on evidence. Those images and videos, even my wife and I still dare not watch a second time. Do you still have the audacity to call them fabricated? My aunt gave a faint, chilling smile, then asked her sharply, "Do you dare swear that you didn't sell your own daughter to please your lover? That night, you were in the room right next door. Li Yuyan and those thugs tore off your daughter's clothes and beat her. Did you really not hear anything?" After they left, Li Yuliang walked into the room. "Lu Xiaoxiao, tied up, screamed and cried for you. Are you dead?" She was speechless, her mind in disarray, trying to recall that night. But it had been too long, she no longer remembered clearly what had happened. Did Li Yuliang really do that to Lu Xiaoxiao? After a long while, she tried to argue. "I don't know." My aunt scoffed, tears also falling. "You always just say you don't know. Does saying that absolve you of responsibility? Do you remember that you personally washed Li Yuliang's underwear? You cleaned my bedsheets. I once wanted to report Li Yuliang, but the evidence was destroyed by my own mother. Before he died, my father saw my naked photos, which is why he lost his spirit and fell from the 16th floor. Lu Xianzi, you truly are a creator of evil." My aunt's entire family drove her away, completely severing all ties. From the day she knelt in the hospital, begging me to forgive Li Yuyan, my grandmother had already considered her no longer her daughter. My uncle and aunt also no longer wanted to care about her. Before, they had shown respect for my father's sake, but my father was dead. And I had been ruined by her lover. They no longer needed to tolerate her. My grandfather's inheritance was almost completely gone. The company was just an empty shell. Nevertheless, my aunt still gave her the house keys, as if providing her with one last place to live. From now on, she could live however she wanted. No one cared anymore. She suddenly realized she had lost everything, left with only a worthless freedom. But she still had to live. She applied for a job in a restaurant kitchen. The owner, a friend of my father's, only reluctantly hired her out of pity, but she had never worked hard. Besides cooking for her lover, she knew nothing else. Washing dishes, she broke stacks of them. Waiting tables, she delivered wrong orders and mixed up tables constantly. Eventually, the owner assigned her as a receptionist, greeting guests 12 hours a day, having to wear high heels. Next to her were all young girls. They secretly laughed behind her back, old and still wanting to be a receptionist. Enjoyed half her life, only now learning to earn money? She cried bitterly in grievance. The next day, the lobby manager complained to the owner, arguing that she wasn't fit to greet guests, and the owner found an excuse to fire her. She drifted from one job to another, finally finding work as a cashier in a convenience store. One day, she was on duty when a customer came to buy cigarettes. She looked up and suddenly froze. The person in front of her was Li Yuyan, but her face was disfigured, covered in scars as if from cigarette burns. She unconsciously called out her name, "Li Yuyan." The moment Li Yuyan saw her, she spat contemptuously, snatched the pack of cigarettes, and turned to run. Lu Xianzi didn't understand why, but an obsession welled up inside her. She had to chase after her to find out. "What are you following me for, you old whore?" She chased Li Yuyan all the way to a dilapidated house. Li Yuyan screamed furiously, "What are you clinging to me for, you old slut? Your daughter ruined me." She was stunned, wanting to comfort Li Yuyan, wanting to take her home, wanting to continue caring for her like her own daughter. But the old iron gate creaked open, and out walked Li Yuliang's ex-wife. She looked old and emaciated. Li Yuyan shrieked, "Get out, don't scare my mother." Lu Xianzi was bewildered. "Your mother? Didn't your father and mother say your mother was dead?" Li Yuyan sneered. "My mother just died, right? Wasn't it to trick money out of you that my parents truly divorced? Go ahead and laugh, gloat all you want. Your husband is dead and your daughter was also slept with by my father. You're living a miserable life now, aren't you? Serves you right. Do you think your daughter will ever forgive you? She'll never forgive you in this lifetime. My father is about to be released from prison, and my family is about to reunite. As for you, you'll be alone for the rest of your life." A chill ran through her entire body. From beginning to end, it had all been a scam. She had been deceived until her family was shattered. What she knew was what my uncle had heard from acquaintances and then told me. Only now did she understand the truth. But clearly, in her heart, her lover and his daughter were far more important than the truth. It turns out losing everything is so simple, but accepting the truth is incredibly difficult. From the day my father died, I had felt this pain. Lu Xianzi only understood now, but it was truly too late. Yet, every time I thought of my father, I still felt it wasn't worth it for him. The lives of those who once harmed me. I studied language for a year in Xinju, then passed the entrance exam to a good university. After graduating, I stayed to work, never returning to my hometown, but occasionally I still hear news about them. Jiang Tao, the fallen prince, retook the university entrance exam but performed poorly, only getting into a private university. After graduation, his career struggled. He couldn't keep up with his peers. His reputation ruined, he couldn't stay in his hometown and eventually became a manager in a relative's company in Shanghai. Li Yuyan, the price of foolishness. Without a degree, her record stained, she couldn't find a good job. But she still couldn't let go of the past. Hearing that Jiang Tao would be attending a class reunion, she sneaked in by all means. A public humiliation. After many years, Jiang Tao had forgotten who she was. Only when others reminded him did he vaguely recall. But when he saw her gazing at him adoringly, he scornfully cursed her out. "With that ugly face, do you deserve me? You're ugly on the outside and even dirtier on the inside. You're a toad wanting to eat swan meat?" She ran away. But after the party, as Jiang Tao went to the parking lot, he was attacked by her with a wrench. As a result, she was arrested. And Jiang Tao was hospitalized for several months. Why? Because of a foolish obsession from her youth. The moment Li Yuliang was released from prison, Lu Xianzi personally went to pick him up. But in reality, she carried a knife. The instant she saw him step out of the prison gates, she lunged, stabbing him directly in the heart. The police arrested her on the spot. She screamed in despair, "I'm avenging my husband. I'm avenging my daughter." I let out a cold laugh. My father had been cremated to ashes long ago. From that day, I was an orphan. Who was she avenging? When I truly needed her, where was she then? Her belated repentance, if it was even that, was perhaps only for her own peace of mind. Many years later, I was nearly 30, still alone. I moved my father's grave back to our ancestral hometown. My uncle's business had flourished, and he repeatedly asked if I wanted to return and take over. I smiled and shook my head. "That's your hard work, uncle. It should be left to my younger cousin or sibling." My uncle was serious. "What belongs to you? You must accept it. The family assets also have a share for you. Don't refuse any more." I gently said, "All right." What belonged to me, I've taken back. What was ruined, I've repaid in full. Now, it's time for me to let go. As I was going through airport procedures, I forgot to pick up my documents. The staff called out, "Lu Xiaoxiao." I turned back to retrieve them. She smiled. "Xiaoxiao means always smiling, right?" I paused, then nodded. She wished me, "Have a pleasant trip and always keep smiling." I gently replied, "Thank you, Dad, for giving me this name." Back then, Lu Xianzi wanted to name me Mo Chu, meaning no worries, but my father objected. He said, "One smile, you look 10 years younger. One frown, your hair turns white. My daughter must always smile throughout her life." My name, containing the character Zio, smile, was my father's blessing. I smiled softly. Life is long, and after the rain, the sky will clear.